it. Every single every single provision that was in the local content policy by Michael Warner. I made sure, remember, we all made sure that it published every day. The cunning and the connivingness in that guy to change everything that suits us, Guyana. He changed it to benefit the oil company.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here.
I'm Kayla King.
These are the top stories we're tracking. Budget 2021 totals $383.1 billion. No new tax measures announced. Old age pension increase, $15,000 voucher per school child, and 0% VAT on food items and more. Meanwhile, woman stabs boyfriend to death during a heated row. Neighbors say she was the aggressor in the relationship, and the taxes accounted for 96% of central government revenue last year. Meanwhile, police sergeant shoots wife in the neck after she ended relationship. Stay tuned to stay informed. GPL Public Advisory. Major planned maintenance for Saturday, February 13, 2021 on the west coast of Demerara from Lenora to Dekinderan from 9 hours to 15 hours, and on the east bank of Esguibo from Zeelat to Namarick from 9 hours to 15 hours. Weekly plant maintenance allows for routine inspection and maintenance of the network to provide customers with a reliable supply of electricity. GPL, empowering you.
And now for the news in detail. Guyana's largest budget to date, totaling $383.1 billion, was yesterday presented to the National Assembly under the theme A Path to Recovery, Economic Dynamism and Resilience. The 4-hour-long presentation was made by Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, with the 2021 budget being financed without any new tax measures. Among the wide range of public investment projects and initiatives announced were several measures aimed at bringing relief to the thousands of Guyanese who were hit financially when the COVID-19 pandemic crippled the economy. According to Dr. Singh, those measures also delivered targeted interventions aimed at the specific sectors and spheres of activity that are particularly important both to households and businesses. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News.
And now let's tell you, 9 months after losing the house he lived in to a fire, Anthony Giddings of Pitt Street, New Amsterdam, was stabbed to death by the woman he lived with. After the house was burned to the ground, Giddings took up residence with his alleged killer. In custody is 43-year-old Anita Hanuman. Hanuman told police that Giddings has been abusive towards her for some time now and would assault her on many occasions when he drinks alcohol or smokes. Some added that she once suffered a broken arm when he assaulted her on the public street, and that yesterday morning the situation escalated. The suspect is said to be cooperating with the police and is expected to be charged soon.
According to Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, who presented the 2021 budget yesterday in the National Assembly, central government's revenue for 2020 totaled $227.4 billion. The minister was keen to note the tax collection accounted for 96% of this revenue, amounting to $218.3 billion. Dr. Singh said that the increase in tax revenue above 2020 budget estimate was the result of higher than projected collections from internal revenue and excise taxes, which grew by $6 billion and $1.9 billion respectively.
And now let's tell you, a police sergeant on Thursday night reportedly shot his reputed wife to her neck and dropped her off at a hospital after she ended the relationship with him. The suspect has been identified as Colin White, the station's sergeant for the Blairmouth Police Station. The injured woman has been identified as Shonetta James, a special constable who shared a 4-year relationship with White and has 2 children with him. According to a police report, the incident happened around 20 hours 30 at Onderneming on the west coast of Berbice. An investigation into the shooting incident is ongoing. It is now 12 hours 9, coming up after the break. Teen who tried to extort $10 million from ex-boyfriend with rape allegation remanded. $1.9 billion estimated for fire service, and government earmarks $53.5 billion for health sector. Meanwhile, in the case of the trio abandoned in quarantine waters, persons found died from asphyxiation and drowning. 3 now in custody. Do stay tuned.
This morning, I woke up a millionaire. A digital millionaire. Money here, money there, money everywhere. I'm a digital millionaire. It's our 14th anniversary, and for the next 14 days, we're gonna make one lucky customer a digital millionaire every day. To enter the draw, just purchase any digital Prime bundle or top up with $1,400 or more for a chance to be a millionaire. Plus, every day, 100 lucky customers will receive $1,400 free credit. Buy a Prime bundle or top up now to enter. Digicel, better together.
And now let's tell you, 19-year-old Princess Williams of Block 3 Providence, East Bank Demerara, was yesterday remanded to prison after she pleaded guilty to an extortion charge. Williams appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Leron Daly. She pleaded guilty to the charge, which stated that with intent to extort $10 million from Kenrick Thomas. She threatened to accuse him of attempting to rape her. The court heard that the defendant and Thomas once shared a relationship, and on January 4th, he invited her over to his home and asked her to have sexual intercourse. An argument ensued and the relationship ended. Williams was remanded to prison and the matter was adjourned to March 1st, 2021.
And moving on, the government, in its annual budget presentation held yesterday at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, has estimated that the Guyana Fire Service will need $1.9 billion to execute its plans for the year 2021. According to Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, GFS will need the money for major inventions. One of those inventions, he said, is the relocation of the central fire station located at the Stabroek Market. The idea of decentralizing the central fire station was explained recently by former fire chief, retired Marlon Gentle.
The government has earmarked $53.5 billion in the 2021 national budget for Guyana's health sector. So said Dr. Ashni Singh yesterday. Singh stressed that the state of the health sector that his administration inherited upon assuming office in August. Singh further stated that his administration is aiming to transform the healthcare system with world-class standards driving their actions over the next 5 years.
And now let's tell you, post-mortem examinations conducted on the bodies of the two persons found after being abandoned in the Quarantine River revealed that they both died from asphyxiation and drowning. The bodies of Alwyn Joseph and 75-year-old Babuni Haryar were discovered hours apart. Haryar was found on the number 7-4 shore along with her granddaughter, while Joseph was found on the number 6-1 shore. Meanwhile, there are now 3 persons in custody in Suriname, including the boat operator, who had reportedly told authorities in Suriname that he thought he had dropped the trio off on the 6-3 beach foreshore.
With the time moving on to 12 hours 13, it is now time for your COVID-19 update. Coronavirus cases, 108.8 million, deaths, 2.3 million, and in the cases of recoveries, 80.8 million.
Locally, the Ministry of Health yesterday reported 2 new COVID-19 deaths, an 84-year-old male and a 59-year-old male, both from Region 4. Their deaths were recorded as the 185th and the 186th COVID-19 fatalities. 46 new cases were recorded, with the confirmed case toll increased to 8,181. 7 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, 666 in home isolation, 41 in institutional isolation, and 25 in institutional quarantine. Additionally, a total of 7,281 persons have recovered from the virus, with 124 new recoveries recorded yesterday.
CNN says the UK variant could impact the epidemic curve and lead to more restrictions in Europe if it becomes the dominant strain, a World Health Organization official warns. The top U.S. infectious disease expert says the country may be able to vaccinate the majority of Americans by the middle or end of summer. More U.S. states are loosening COVID-19 restrictions, even as experts warn the country is still not in the clear, especially as variants spread. Double masking can significantly improve protection against the virus, new CDC data shows.
And that just about brings us to the end of today's news at noon. But before we go, let's head over to the Kaieteur News, page 7, that is dedicated to being blunt. Local content, meaning the provision of goods and services by citizens to the oil and gas companies, is a main aspect of any oil and gas economy in a developing country. It is the most effective way of directly integrating citizens of a country into the oil and gas economy. Local content should start off at a reasonable level and then continue to grow throughout the lifetime of that economy. Without transparency on the levels of local content, however, there is no way of knowing the rate at which local content is growing and in which sectors. Guyanese need to demand transparency when it comes to the level and nature of local content in our oil and gas industry. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith.
I am Kayla King.
Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.